Hey everybody, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. I've got an awesome guest here for you. We've already had some amazing stories in the background. Thank you for coming to the show, John Swasey.
Hey, thank you, Jackie. Glad to be here.
I'm actually
What's
really
going on?
happy you've come here and whatnot because you were explaining a very painful story to us behind the scenes. You apparently flew down the stairs at a recent convention.
Well, I didn't fly. I was trying to fly. I over the hundreds of characters I played, some have actually flown, and I guess I thought that perhaps I could. I was up at Anime North in Toronto over Memorial Weekend, and we had just gotten back from a wonderful, wonderful trip that they took us on down to Niagara Falls. And we were having a blast and, catching up with people I hadn't seen in a while, other voice actors and some artists and stuff, and just having a great time and opening ceremonies. I mean, 6 minutes into opening ceremonies, they announce me, and I go up on the stage and I say, "Hello, how y'all doing? Glad to be here. Love Toronto. And let's have a grand old time." And I walk to the edge of the stage, and it's about a 5-foot stage, or 4.5-foot stage, something like that. It's not terribly high, and there's stairs right in front of me, and a lovely young lady extending her hand to help me down the stairs. And I threw it all away just so I could try to fly, and I leapt off the stage and got some cheers from the crowd, but then landed and immediately knew something was not right or something was not correct or good in my right foot, and kind of hobbled over and, kind of got a laugh out of it, but hobbled over to my seat, and Brittany Karbowski, who's another voice actor, was sitting right next to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, I think I just jammed my heel. I'll be all right." And I sat there for about 2 more minutes, and she looked again. She goes, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I am." And I was just writhing in pain. And I hopped behind the screen and backstage, and they had EMTs looking at me, and I had my foot on ice and wrapped it. Anyway, it was a mess. And fortunately, the people at Anime North, Chris Saltis, and he was the head of liaisons for the guests, and then my liaison. Anyway, they were just absolutely fantastic, and I could not have gotten any better care. So anyway, they carted me around in wheelchairs and crutches and stuff like that. I didn't know I had the extent of the injury till I got back to Houston. I just thought I had a bad sprained ankle, but it turns out I had a fractured heel. So the week of Memorial Week, I got it put into a cast with an orthopedic surgeon, and I just got out of the cast, and I'm now in a walking boot right now. So it's but it was all for the fans. So
The danger of catering to your fans.
Yeah. But the good news is I now know I never have to jump off a stage again at an anime convention. I have
Good
done
advice.
I can cross it off the list.
I know. I will say, did you enjoy the rest of the convention despite, being in pain and all?
You know what? I did. I had an absolute blast. And like I said, the people at the convention were so gracious and so helpful, and it just could not have been a better experience. Well, unless I didn't break my heel, then it probably would have been a little better. But everyone there was fantastic, and we had an absolute blast. And it was a pretty big convention. They had like over 16,000 kids there, or folks there, and it was just great. So I had a blast. I'd do it all over again, broken heel and all.
I have to wonder, how is it interacting with, the fans who enjoy your voice work and your acting work?
It was great, and of course the cool thing is when you do a convention, you're usually seated at a panel. So it was no problem for me to do the panels. We did a Soul Leader panel and a couple of voice actor panels, and then we did some autograph sessions and stuff like that. So it was no problem at all, and everyone was so, I guess, word spread quickly through the convention, you know, even for the people that weren't there, that this had happened, and you know, people were coming up and going, "How's your foot?" and "Oh, you feeling better? We're so sorry." You know, it was really great. It's very touching. But you know, with technology the way it is today, it's no wonder. I mean, before I even got home, it was posted on YouTube, so you can actually see me do my little hello and then jump off the stage. So, but no, all the fans were just incredible, just incredible.
Now, it's actually very convenient that you mentioned Soul Eater, because I know you play the character Lord Death, correct?
Yes, I do.
I was asked.
I love Lord Death.
I was asked by plenty of our fans to ask, because you actually have to play with a bunch of ranges there, because when he gets angry, he gets a lot more gruff, and normally he's a little bit more high-pitched.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, his normal voice is somewhere like this, and he sort of talks like this, and it's a good voice for me to do at the beginning of a session. If I go up to Dallas, you know, where I work at Funimation, who produces Soul Eater, it was always best for me to go up and do that session first, because if I were doing anything else, whether it be Sergeant Frog or, oh God, there's another show and I can't remember the name of it, but my character yells the entire time, and it just would get to a point where I was like, you know what, I can't, my mermaid, my girlfriend's a mermaid or something. Anyway, I just couldn't do it. I'd come in and I'd go, "Hello, how are we today?" And Zach Bolton, the director, would be like, "Dude, scratch it. Come back tomorrow. Let's do it." Because it wasn't a hard voice to do, but it was such a high pitched voice. You're correct that if my voice were not in the, you know, a perfect state, it would be very difficult to do. So, but it was a fun voice, very fun character. I've had a lot of fun doing it.
But at the same time, roles like that, you know, expand your range, correct?
Sure, absolutely, and which I'm very grateful for, that I got the chance to audition for it. You know, when you audition for something, for me, because I would be, quote, considered an out-of-town actor, because I'm down in Houston, so they'll send me auditions via email, and I'll record them at my house, and then send them back. And hopefully, if I do something that's close, the director may email back and go, "Okay, try this with that character." But when you're there at the studio, and you get to audition for the director, that's the best thing, because then the director can direct you right there to really what they want. So it's far more advantageous to be at the studio when you're auditioning. Now, the reason I bring all that up is, you know, when I first did Lord Death, my first thought is okay, his name is Lord Death. He's this skeleton-looking guy. And a lot of voices I do, like, you know, Sir Crocodile in One Piece, or Gates in Full Metal Panic. Well, he's not quite Gates, but anyway, it's, you know, it's a very rough and deep voice like this. It's got a lot of power behind it, you know, and that kind of thing. Well, I was kind of like, well, that's, you know, what I get cast a lot as, so maybe that's what they want. And Zach was like, no, this guy he's almost comedic in his delivery. So we, you know, played around with it, but I was able to have the advantage of being in front of the director who could direct me, and we went with the voice that way. And as a matter of fact, we even while we thought we had the voice, we recorded probably 30 minutes of the first episode before we actually found the voice, as it were. And we stopped and we went back and re-recorded the earlier stuff to match it, because it had sort of evolved and grown, you know, sort of organically, if you will, through the recording session until we really hit the right note, hit the right spot. And that's usually the way it goes anyway. But yeah, usually I get a lot of voice work where I'm down here and real gruff, or doing something like Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, or where it's all down here. It's very, very quiet, but very, So to do Lord Death, where he's way up here, it was quite delightful, quite delightful.
And now you mentioned, how it's easier to interact with a director at a studio, but lately it seems to me that home studios are sort of becoming the thing. Would you still prefer going into the booth and doing an audition that way?
I would totally prefer that. Yes. When I was directing and working full time practically for ADV down here in Houston, I credit getting cast in a lot of things because I was able to go from director to director in person. I mean, it's always better to direct or to audition in front of the person who's going to cast you because, like I said, they can direct you if need be. Now, convenience-wise, it'd be a real it's a kind of a logistics issue for me to have to drive or get myself to Dallas just for an audition, when I can do it here. And the directors are really good at Funimation. I mean, if when I send it, I usually put on there, here are my auditions. If you hear anything you like, please let me know. But if you hear something that you don't like, or not you don't like, but something that's close but not right on the money, but you think I'm in the ballpark, let me know and send me some direction or call me and we'll talk it out over the phone or something like that. And I've done that a few times, and that's been effective. But the other thing too is that the times they are a-changing, and back in the day, I just don't think Funimation had as many actors at their disposal up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area as they do now, for a number of reasons. A lot of people have moved there because Funimation is one of the largest producers of anime in the country, and if you want to do voice work, you need to be where the voice work is being done. But they've also developed a really nice just talent pool. There's a very large pool of very talented actors in the Metroplex. And consequently, it's, they'll ask me to audition for something. Well, they're going to ask 5 other guys up there to audition for something as well. And the downside for me is that I'm out of town. So it's easier to schedule them. It's easier to get them in for an audition. It's easier to get them in for a booking or stuff like that. So I sort of have an uphill battle. So any chance I can get to audition for a director in front of them, I would jump on if I can.
So you can
I think it would work. It would work to my advantage.
But you can thankfully thank technology a little bit too, because that's been able to get you, parts and auditions or further into auditions, even though you can't make it there right away.
Oh, you're absolutely correct, Jackie. I mean, that's right on the money. If it weren't for the technology the way it is, I wouldn't have any chance at all. Other than literally, we have an audition. Okay, drive up to Dallas. 4 hours, audition, turn around and drive back. And and if that's, quite honestly, if that's the way it had to be done, that's the way I'd do it. But with technology as such, we don't have to do it that way. But it gives us an opportunity, but also it's just, like I said, it's still not being in front of the director. It'll never be as good as that, unless you could do it where the director, you had the director on the phone and you could do it over the phone, or something like that, where the director could hear you and direct you as you're going. But that takes time, and you want to make it as easy on them as possible. And the other thing too that is good for me, or good for really any voice actors, is by the grace of God and whatnot, we've been able to do this for quite a long time. So the directors we've worked with kind of know what our vocal range is and what we're capable of, and so it kind of pigeonholes you a little bit, but I'd rather be pigeonholed and working than trying to expand myself and not working at all. So I usually consequently end up doing a lot of villains or quirky characters like Kogoro and Sergeant Frog, who, his voice is simply like this. He talks his inflections are always off. It's, I will go to the store now, and that's a lot of fun to do because it's so quirky. But you do end up getting kind of cast in some of the same roles and that kind of thing. But that's fine. That's where my strengths are. And so the directors know that they're going to hopefully get a much better, solid product out of it.
Well, working is better than not working. I will agree with you there.
Working is always better than the alternative.
I will say, though, we're going to take a short break here on 91.8 The Fan, but stay tuned, because we're still got a little bit more of the interview left, and you want to stay tuned to your favorite station. Everything you want, nothing you don't. All right, and we're off for a short break.
Oh, golly, I'm bored.
Have you considered listening to some music, Mr. Ooze, sir?
It's time to pay the piper.
As fun as destroying the command center may be, sir, might I suggest 918 The Fan? Lots of amusing teen DJs and the like.
A teenager with a big mouth. Not much has changed in 6,000 years.
I believe, sir, that they also have a number of celebrity guests from the anime field in for interviews.
Woo! Where's my autograph book?
That's the spirit, sir. 918thefan.com. As the kids say, check it out.
Hey everybody, we're back, and I still have my special guest with me. I haven't chased him away, taken away his crutches, anything like that. Don't worry.
That's a good way to keep me, is take away my crutches.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we want you to have some freedom.
Well, thank you.
Now, I was actually curious, do you have any current projects or upcoming projects you want the listeners to know about?
Sure, I do. I just finished One Piece. Well, that was actually a while ago, but I don't know what the release dates are or anything. So finishing up Crocodile was a lot of fun. But I'm working on a new project called Black Butler, and I'm the Undertaker. And oddly enough, we were just talking about different voice characteristics, but the voice is a lot like Lord Death's in Soul Eater, except he's British, so it's got a bit of a Cockney to it. So he's like, "Hello, how are you? Oh, so nice," So that's a lot of fun. But then the other big thing that I'm doing is, and I hope your fans don't hate me for this. It was not my choice, but I was asked to step up. But I am now playing the role of Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, which was originally voiced by Scott McNeil. And so John Swasey is the new Scott McNeil, is what I'm basically trying to say. And no, I'm kidding. Scott's a very nice guy and a very, very talented actor. Just he's in Canada, and Funimation's in Texas, and so they asked me if I could come up and sort of replicate his vocal style, which I went up and did, and they were all happy, and the powers that be were happy. So I'm the new voice of Hohenheim. It's kind of like the new Darren Stevens. Just give it a moment, and you won't miss a beat.
Well, congratulations. So. That's very awesome. And I think everybody's working on Black Butler right now, because I have yet to find a cast list. Maybe it's hiding somewhere on the internet. But in the past few interviews, it's been Black Butler, Black Butler, Black Butler. So that must be the new show.
Well, it's a pretty big cast, so but it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time on the show.
Now, for anybody else that is wanting to keep track of any new things that's coming up for you, do you do the social media thing? Do you have a website or anything that you post updates on?
I do. I'm a little bit on the older generation, so I'm a little more inept when it comes to the social media. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook, John Swasey, and come on by. I'd love to be your friend. I don't have any problems making friends with anybody. I'm actually trying to build up my friend list as much as I can. And then you can also check out my website at johnswasey.com and see some of the things that I've done. And I've got my, demo reels up there and stuff like that. And then, if I can, I'll make a selfless plug. I've got a little project. It has nothing to do with anime, but it is a food product I've created called Uncle Shuckers, and they're spicy ranch snack crackers. So if you go to UncleShuckers.com, you can check out the website and even order some crackers online, but they're delicious. So, anyway, so I'm, doing that and getting ready to, I just got back from Anime North and getting ready to head up to my next convention, which is going to be at the end of August. I'm going to Dublin, Ireland.
Ooh, that must be very nice to travel so far.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never been over to Ireland, or I've never been across the pond, so I'm, really looking forward to it. And I'm also, while I'm over there, I'm going to spend a little time down in Berlin, Germany, visiting a client of mine that I do some voice work for, some German projects that we voice into English. It ought to be a lot of fun trip, and I'm really going to try to make a concerted effort to do a lot more cons next year. I really only do 2 or 3 a year, and it's for no other reason other than I'm just busy and I've got, a family and it's hard to get away, but I'm going to really try to ramp that up to, 12 to 15 cons next year if I can, if they'll have me. So if you have a con and want me, just let me know. I'd love to come.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty that would love to have you, and I hear for voice actors you really have to advertise yourself to get at a convention. They more than likely don't always invite you.
Well, some do, and some, but you have to, I think, put yourself out there. It's just like with anything, they need to know that you're there, and I think that, while I've certainly been around a while and I've been very fortunate to do a lot of work, that, I'm, as I like to say, my wife says this, that in the world of anime, if Vic Mignogna is the Brad Pitt, I'm the Kevin Bacon. So, I'm in a lot of stuff. I'm just never the lead role in anything. So, a lot of people know who I am. A lot of people don't know who I am, and there's, I just do a lot of different voices. So I kind of hide in the numbers and stay hidden in the characters. But I'd love to get out and do more conventions because really, I'd love to get out and meet more of the fans. I just am so thankful that to you and to your station for the support and the props but I'm really thankful to the fans because, let's face it, without the fans, none of us would be here. So kudos to you, fans.
Aw, I'm sure that if they could, they would say thank you right now. But sadly, you're only talking to me. But I thank you as well.
Well, good.
I would like to say, though, before we let you go, I was wondering if you'd be willing to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Absolutely.
We ask everybody who comes on if they'd be willing to do a radio bump for us.
Oh, sure, you bet.
Awesome. You might want to get a pen because some people can't do it unless they write it down because we do it live on air for all the bloopers. But we were wondering if you'd be willing to say, my name is, I do this, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
My name is John Swasey, and I'm a voice actor, and you're tuned into 98.1 The Fan?
91.8 The Fan.
Oh, I better write that down. Let me get a pen. 91.8, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Everybody messes that part up. We're used to that one.
But is that what you're looking for? I mean,
yes, exactly.
Basically, except the correct call letters.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, hang on here. I'm hobbling into the other room.
Aww.
So.
Somebody took his crutches. It wasn't me.
Well, the good news is I'm no longer on crutches, but it's a hobble. So, okay, Jackie, do me a favor and tell me, let me just write it down. My name is John
I do this.
Swasey. I do voices
And you're tuned
4.
into 91.8 The Fan.
Tuned into 98.1. The Fan.
91.8.
90, God, come on, man. There we go, 91.8, The Fan.
Yeah.
Okay. And my other, I guess the other thing that we should tell everyone is if you really want to see something is go watch the movie Dazed and Confused. Have you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused?
I haven't personally, no, but I'm very terrible with watching things.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an older movie. It's made back in the 90s, but I'm the beer delivery guy in Dazed and Confused, so that was Matthew McConaughey's first movie, so that's my small claim to fame.
Very nice.
But anyway, so you ready to do it, or you want to?
Yes,
we good?
whenever
or?
you're ready.
Okay. Do you want me to do it in my voice or a character voice?
It's up to you. You can do more than one if you'd like.
Okay, I'll do a couple here. You ready?
Yep.
My name is John Swasey, and I do voices for anime, and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
Yay!
All right, let's try another one here. My name is Lord Death, a.k.a. John Swasey, and I do voices for anime, and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
I must say that was amazing and perfect, and I'm sure a lot of our fans freaked out over that one. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
And thank you so much for this interview. It was a fantastic time, and I hope we have you on again in the future.
Well, please do anytime you want, and just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to do it. Thank you, Jackie.
Not at all. And for everybody out there, if you missed any of this interview, it'll be up on the website in the next few days. So keep it tuned to your favorite station. Everything you want, nothing you don't.